Hello students, last time we have explained about major byproducts of the beekeeping or apiculture, that is honey and beeswax. Today we are going to explain the remaining minor byproducts of the honeybees or bee products of the honeybees, starting with bee venom. Bee venom is obtained from the stings of the worker bees. So, abdomen of worker bees consisting of sting apparatus or the sting in which there is a acid and alkali gland which secretes or produces the bee venom or epitoxin. Secretion of these glands together called as venom or epitoxin. Secretion of the acid glands and the alkali glands which are present next to the sting apparatus. So at the end of abdomen there is a tip of the abdomen, there is a sting, and just behind the sting or just before the sting in the abdomen there is a tubular gland called as alkali and acid gland, so which secretes a mixture of concentrated acids and alkalis in the form of bee venom or the epitoxin. So it is secretion of the acid and alkali glands of the poison glands which are accompanied with the sting of the worker bees, and this is secreted by the acid and alkali glands or the poison glands that will be then stored into the sac called as poison reservoir or the poison sac, containing mixture of acids and alkalis. Strong or concentrated acids and alkalis are the important components present in the bee venom secreted by the acid and alkali glands of the worker bees present uh, just before the sting apparatus in the abdomen. So 15 days old bees contain zero point 0.3 milligram of bee venom. 15 days old worker bees can contain 0.3 milligram of the bee venom in their poison reservoir secreted by the poison glands or the acid and alkali glands which are present in the abdomen accompanied with the sting. It is a transparent, bee venom is a transparent, clear liquid, sharp and bitter burning taste, aromatic odor, acidic in a reaction, and specific gravity is 1.1313. It dries quickly at room temperature. So when the bee venom or epitoxin is exposed to the atmosphere, it dries quickly at room temperature. It is soluble in water acid. The bee venom is soluble in a water acid. Method of collection of bee venom, flurry method. So in first method or in a flurry method, honeybees are kept in a wide naked glass jar closed with a filter paper and dampened with a ether. So ether vapor irritates the bees. Ether vapors irritates the bees which are enclosed in a glass jar, and they release the venom on the wall of the jar. Then we can collect the liquid, filter, then water evaporated, and finally bee venom is obtained. So the worker bees which get irritated due to the ether vapors releasing the venom on the wall of jar, from where the liquid form of the bee venom is collected, then is filtered and water evaporated to obtain finally the bee venom in a solid state. Drawback: bees does not release all venom. Drawbacks of the flurry method: bees does not release all venom. Some of bees dies due to the narcotic activity of the ether, and it is also very difficult to purify the bee venom. So these are the some of the drawbacks of the flurry method to obtain bee venom. Then another method, that is improvised electric current method. The special electric device in this method, special electric device is fitted or used at the bee entrance of the hive. Bee receives or bees get they experience or bees get a mild electric shock and thus releasing the venom which falls on the glass kept below the bee entrance. So this is a small improvised special electric device which will give a mild electric current or mild electric shock to the workers at the entrance of the bees, below which a glass bowl is kept. So due to the mild electric shock, bees release the venom that will fall on the glass or the glass bowl which is kept below the bee entrance in the hive box. Then third, modern bee venom extractor method. Central Bee Research Institute, Central Bee Research and Training Institute, Pune designed this device. Device contains a thin synthetic plate. A device contains a thin synthetic plate layered with a ultra thin mesh through which mild electric current is passed. So this is also a device containing a thin synthetic plate layered with ultra thin mesh through which mild electric current is passed. So this device is placed beneath the brood chamber. This device is placed beneath the brood chamber. So bees also, the bees which pass through the entrance or the bee gate into the brood chamber. So while its movement from below brood chamber, the bees receive the mild shock and releasing the venom on the brood chamber or on the bottom board of the brood chamber. So this device is placed beneath the brood chamber, that is kept onto the bottom board or the floor board of the brood chamber. So bees receiving the mild electric shock and releasing the venom on the bottom board, or from where we can collect the bee venom from the that can be released onto the glass sheet or a plain glass, from where we can collect the bee venom from the glass, which can just be kept above the floor or bottom board in the brood chamber. So this is also a device giving mild electric shock to the workers, and due to which the bees release the venom due to their irritation or due to the mild electric shock. Composition and uses of the bee venom. The bee venom contains a complex mixture of variety of chemicals or the biochemicals such as histamine, dopamine, melitin, apamine, minimine, hyaluronidase, and phospholipase enzymes, formic acids, hydrochloric acid, orthophosphoric acid, tryptophan, sulfur, magnesium phosphate, copper and calcium, proteins and volatile oil. So this is a, a complex mixture of variety of chemicals present in the bee venom. Then its medicinal use. Rheumatoid arthritis, bee therapy or apitherapy, that is stinging of the bees, can be recommended or used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, desensitization of hypersensitive individuals. So this is the medical use of the bee venom for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis or desensitization of the hypersensitive individuals. The bee venom improves the blood supply. Bee venom improves blood supply, prevents neuralgic and rheumatic pain, prevents neuralgic and rheumatic pain, dilates blood vessel and thus lowering the blood pressure, hemolysis and contraction of the muscles. Then eye diseases are also treated by bee venom, such as inflammation of the cornea, mucous membrane. Then is also used for the treatment of skin diseases of the face. 20 colonies of the honeybee, 20 colonies of the honeybee may yield 1 gram of bee venom milked at a time or harvested or collected at a time. So 20 colonies of the honeybee can yield, can give or can provide 1 gram of the bee venom at a time. So this is about composition and the uses of the bee venom. Then next byproduct, fourth byproduct of the beekeeping or honeybees, that is propolis, are also called as bee glue. It is a gummy, sticky, resinous material collected by the bees from the trees and other vegetation, either from birds or the bark of the surrounding plant vegetation. Bees collect propolis in their pollen basket. Bees collect propolis in their pollen basket. Bees do not store propolis in the hive but may redistribute a small quantity time to time. Method of collection. So first method of collection of propolis or the bee glue by scraping frames or hive walls with a razor blade. Second method, by placing rough plastic or a grooved wood or a rough stainless steel mesh or a screen inside the hive. By placing rough plastic or a grooved wood or a rough stainless steel mesh or a screen inside the hive. So because of keeping such a material in the hive box, honeybees fill up the gaps or the cracks and crevices or the grooves by using the bee glue. So bee glue, these are the resinous secretions or the substances or the plant juices collected by the workers from the surrounding uh, plant vegetation, uh, like uh, like the plants of the Euphorbiaceae. So the latex or the gummy secretions or the balsams can be collected by the worker bees from the plant vegetation, surrounding plant vegetation, and that is transformed into a propolis by mixing the wax also. So bees fill these gaps by the propolis, and then we can collect the bees glue or the propolis carefully and store in a airtight condition. Yield of bee glue is 30 gram per hive. Yield of the bee glue or propolis is 30 gram per hive. So bee glue or the propolis, it is also a product processed or produced by the worker bees by collecting the resinous, gummy, latex or plant juices like secretions from the plant vegetation, that is brought to the hive and processed with wax and is transformed into a bee glue that is used for polishing, that is used for polishing or the inner walls of the hexagonal cells or the comb cells, and hence the name is propolis. So it is used for polishing of the inner walls of the wax comb cells, and thus it is also having since it is also having the antiseptic or antibiotic properties, this will help in preventing infections, that is microbial infections in the hive or in the wax comb also. So it is very important, but is mainly used by the bees to fill up the cracks, crevices, or the gaps in the bee box or in the hive or in the frames, so as to fill up the gaps or cracks and crevices uh, in the hive or in the frames, or even it is used for the polishing the inner walls of the comb cells. So yield of the bee glue or propolis is 30 gram per hive. Composition and properties of the propolis. Composition: it contains 30% wax, 55% resins and balsams, 10% scented ethereal or essential oils, and 5% pollen. So this is the composition of the propolis. Recently, it is found that propolis also contains acacitin, isovanillin, pinostrobin, flavone, etc. Other compositions: capic acid, vanillin, tectochrysine, chrysine, cinnamic acid, galangin acid, then furfulic acid. So these are the different chemicals also present in the propolis or the bee glue. Properties: it varies in a color from brownish green to the brownish red or yellow orange or brown or black. Hard and brittle when cool. When it become cool, it become hard and brittle. Melting point 66 degrees centigrade. Melting point 66 degrees centigrade. It is soluble in acetone, benzene, and 2% NaOH. It has having antimicrobial and antifungal properties. It is having antimicrobial and antifungal properties, and hence it works as antibiotic or antiseptic in the wax comb or the hives, and helping very much in prevention of microbial attacks in the hives or in the honeybee colonies. Then uses of the propolis. Honeybees use propolis to fill the cracks and crevices of the hive. It forms inner coat of the honey and brood cells before honey storage and egg laying. Use of bee glue or the propolis is to seal the bodies of enemies with the bee glue so as to prevent its harm, may releasing foul smell or the bad odor. Dead bodies of the enemies in the hive can lead to the foul smell or the bad odor, and thus honeybees cover them, close them, or enclose their dead bodies by using the bee glue so as to avoid its harm. Episploria covers their limbs with a propolis. Episploria covers their limbs with a propolis, serves as a sticky substance against ants. In past, it is used as antiseptic due to its wound healing property. Due to the wound healing property, the bee glue or the propolis is used as an antiseptic material or the medicine, as it is having wound healing property. It is used as ointments. It prevents radiation reaction on the skin. Upper respiratory diseases like throat infection, common cold, lung infection are also controlled by the inhalation of the propolis. Inhalation of the vapors of the propolis will also help in a treatment or getting relief from variety of diseases or disorders of the upper respiratory tract, that is throat infection, common cold, lung infection, and these are controlled just by inhalation of the propolis along with the boiling water. Then it also helps in cure of mouth and gum disorders, gum decay, general illness, stomach ulcer pain, fungal skin infections can also be treated by the propolis or the bee glue. In Soviet Union, in a Soviet Union, that is Russia, it is used in a veterinary medicine, treating cuts, abscesses, and wounds of the animals. In Russia, it is used in burning external ulcers, eczema, and hearing defects. So these are the some of the uses, medicinal uses of the propolis or the bee glue. Then next product, byproduct of the honeybees, that is royal jelly. It is secreted by hypopharyngeal and mandibular glands of the worker bees. So these are the modified salivary glands or salivary glands called as hypopharyngeal glands or mandibular glands of the worker bees, which secretes a royal jelly, normally 5 to 15 days old workers. So 5 to 15 days old workers, they secrete the royal jelly. It is a milk white secretion, highly protein and vitamin rich secretion of the salivary glands or mandibular glands and hypopharyngeal glands of the workers, uh, that is called as royal jelly. So it is secreted by hypopharyngeal or mandibular glands of the worker bees, normally 5 to 15 days old. Synthesized during digestion of the pollen. It is synthesized during digestion of the pollen, and it is responsible for the differences between the development of the worker and the queen. As the royal jelly, as the royal jelly is rich in proteins and vitamin E or different other vitamins, it is having direct influence on the development of the gonads in workers and the queen. So queen bee, which is fed by the royal jelly throughout its larval development or even during the adult stage, by this special feed called as royal jelly, which is having its direct influence on the normal development or full development of the ovary, and thus queen bee becomes a fertile female capable of undergoing process of oogenesis in the ovary and producing eggs, and thus the queen bee become a fertile female due to the lack of or the shortage of protein rich food or vitamin rich food, that is the royal jelly, to the worker larvae or to the worker remains sterile or workers ovary cannot develop. So worker remain sterile even though they are females, even though they are females, workers are females, but they are unable to undergo process of oogenesis in their ovary because of the feeding difference during the larval development. That is, worker larvae are not fed adequately, optimally by the royal jelly, and thus workers remain sterile. So this is what the feeding difference of the royal jelly leading into the development of the gonads in a worker and the queen. Method of collection of the royal jelly from swarm cells. Swarm cells are cutting down with a razor, flicking out the larvae with a matchsticks and scraping out the royal jelly and stored in a amber colored bottle. From swarm cells means in a brood cells, the royal jelly is fed by the nurse bees to the developing larvae in the brood comb. So from the brood comb one can collect the royal jelly just by scraping out the swarm cells or the brood cells. Then another method, that is artificial queen rearing method. Royal jelly is collected. Royal jelly is collected by suction pumps from 3 days old queen rearing cells. About 200 to 300 milligram of the royal jelly per hive can be collected from the uh, queen brood cells. So the royal jelly can be collected by using suction pumps from 3 days old queen rearing cells. So the queen larva or the queen, which is reared in the tall cylindrical cells which are situated along the margin of the comb, from which we can obtain the royal jelly, and 200 to 300 milligram of the royal jelly can be collected from the hive uh, at a time. From queen cells, cut off queen cells and larvae by toothpicks and scooping out the product, 28.35 gram of the royal jelly can be collected from 100 queen brood cells. So these are the three methods of the collection of the royal jelly. One from swarm cells, other that is artificial queen rearing method, means dummy queen rearing method, dummy or artificial queen rearing method, that is a Fels or dummy uh, queen rearing method can be adopted so as to obtain the royal jelly. Then from the queen cells, even from the queen brood cells, one can obtain the royal jelly. So these are the three methods for obtaining royal jelly from the hives or the honeybee colonies. Composition, properties and uses of the royal jelly. The royal jelly contains 66.05% moisture, 12.34% proteins, 5.14% lipid, 12.14% total reducing substance, 0.82% ash, and 2.84% remains undetermined. The royal jelly is rich in vitamin B, little vitamin C, A, and D, and contains 10 hydroxydecenoic acid. So it is rich in a 10 hydroxydecenoic acid present in the royal jelly. So royal jelly is composed of these biochemicals. Properties: it is cream white in color, strongly acidic, highly nitrogenous, slightly pungent odor, somewhat bitter taste. The royal jelly is having slightly pungent odor and somewhat bitter taste. It is strongly acidic, highly nitrogenous, and cream white in color. It is used as a food for rearing queen bees. It is also used in treatment of cardiovascular disorders and influenza. It is also used as a diuretic agent. So these are the some of the uses of the royal jelly. That is, it is used as a food for rearing queen bees. Even it is used for the rearing or feeding of 2-3 days of the development of larvae or grubs of all caste during the brood development, that is worker larvae, drone larvae or queen larvae, all of which are fed by the royal jelly or the royal substance for first 2-3 days of their larval development. And only queen larva and the queen adult queen or throughout the life of the queen is fed by a royal jelly. So it is used as a food for rearing of the queen bees throughout the life. It is also used in the treatment of cardiovascular disorders and influenza, and it also acts as diuretic agent. So these are the composition, properties and the uses of the royal jelly. Then lastly, the last byproduct, that is pollen. Mostly uh, active compound, most biologically active compound. The pollen is most biologically active compound. Method of collection. It is collected from hind legs or the pollen baskets of hind legs of the returning forager bees or the worker bees which are involved in the outdoor duties, that is collection of the nectar and pollen. So whatever the workers which are returning in the hive possessing their hind legs with a pollen basket full of pollen grains. So it is collected from hind legs or the third pair of legs having a pollen basket containing large quantity of pollen grains which has been entangled into the pollen baskets. So the returning forager bees can provide the large quantity of pollen grains from the pollen baskets which is present on third pair of leg of the worker bees. So when forage bees or the worker bees loaded with pollens in a pollen basket pass through the trap, pollen basket falling into the trays. So pollen grains which are entangled into the pollen basket that get fall into a tray, so that is kept in the bottom board. So while the entry of the forager bees possessing or containing large quantity of pollen grains entangled into the pollen basket which is present on third pair of leg that will fall into the tray. About 60 gram of the pollens can be collected per day. About 60 gram of the pollen grains can be collected every day. Single colony yields about 3 to 5 kg of pollens per year. Then composition of the pollen grains: 7 to 35.5% proteins. The pollen grains are rich in proteins. Then lipids, free amino acids, carbohydrates, that is sugar, starch and cellulose, minerals, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, manganese, potassium, aluminum, sulfur and copper, vitamins, thiamine, pantothenic acid, nicotinic acid, riboflavin, ascorbic acid, vitamin D and E, enzymes, coenzymes, pigments, that is xanthophyll and carotene, and the sterols. So these are the variety of biochemicals present in the pollen. But pollens are mainly composed of proteins. That is a rich source of the protein. 7 to 35.5% of the proteins present in the pollen grains. It also contains lipids, free amino acids, carbohydrates containing different sugars such as starch, cellulose, then minerals such as calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, manganese, potassium, aluminum, sulfur and the copper. Then it also contains vitamins such as thiamine, pantothenic acid, nicotinic acid, riboflavin, ascorbic acid, vitamin D and vitamin E also. It also contains enzymes, coenzymes. It also contains pigments such as xanthophyll and the carotene, and pollens also containing sterols. Uses of the pollen grains or the pollen: mainly used by brood for growth. It is a ordinary food. It is ordinary type of food and is usually or commonly fed to the grubs or the larvae of the workers and the drones. It is also called as bee bread. So pollen mainly used for the feeding of the brood, that is the larvae of workers and drones for the purpose of their growth. Used in bee bread making. Used in bee bread making. It neutralizes the activity of the intestine like colitis or chronic constipation. So, for the treatment of colitis or for the treatment of chronic constipation, one can use a pollen as a medicine. It improves the appetite. It increases the hemoglobin level. It lowers the blood pressure and it is also useful in anemia. So, so as to overcome, so as to treat the anemia, so as to treat high blood pressure, so as to improve the anemia, that is improve the quantity of the hemoglobin. It improves the appetite and is also used for the treatment of the colitis or chronic constipation in the intestine. It also neutralizes the activity of the intestine like colitis and chronic constipation. It improves the appetite. It improves the hemoglobin level. It improves the blood pressure, that it lowers the blood pressure. It is useful in anemia and mainly it is used for the feeding of the brood, that is larvae of workers and drones, and is used for preparation of bee bread, which is usually fed to the worker and drone larvae during the brood development. So these are the some of the uses of the pollen grains. The pollens also uh, considered to be a source of gonadotropic hormone. The pollens are also the source of gonadotropic hormone, and so it is useful for the treatment of the sterility. It is also useful to maintain the health of the prostate gland in the male. So pollen is having uh, great importance in the medicine because it can be used for the treatment of colitis or the chronic constipation. It is also used for the treatment of the anemia. It is also used for the treatment of the sterility. It is also used for the treatment of the prostate gland, and thus it is having great importance as a medicine as well as a source of protein for the treatment of malnutrition or also to improve the appetite, also to improve the quantity of hemoglobin in the blood. It is also used for the treatment of anemia. So these are the different uses of the pollen uh, for the mankind. So this is what all about the different byproducts. So already we have explained two major byproducts such as honey and the wax together with the minor bee products such as uh, the royal jelly, pollen, bee glue or propolis, then epitoxin or the bee venom. So bee venom or the epitoxin, then propolis or bee glue, then royal jelly and the pollen. These are four minor bee products, and honey and wax are the major products of the honeybees. So this is about the bee products. Next time we will continue next topic, that is bee diseases, enemies or the bee pest next time. So today we'll stop here. Thank you.